Let me talk for a second.
They have a better footprint than you were us.
I'll just for a second.
Ours just doesn't. Well, that will kill.
I'll get that
They say, yeah, we'll do the best we can with ours.
now. I'll be thinking in my mind, and I want to share that with you. Nice time.
Yeah, well,
Let's get to it.
I'd be like an office that needs to go out.
6:56. I gotta get start. Meeting started. We gotta start the meeting.
Oh, what did I do?
Yes, 4 minutes.
Oh, you what?
We'll talk.
Yeah,
We will talk.
You show me a picture of the camera. This is great kids. Daughter, find out me.
Oh, really good.
Hopefully it comes to carry. I'll make sure. Because I haven't actually ordered it yet. I think I've proven to order it. But yeah, the new one will calculate this.
Just one particular picture.
How are you, sir? Hello, Mayor. It's a pleasure having you here.
And
You must have come with your students. Huh?
yes, sir, I did.
Awesome. Great. I'm glad. So I can ask you. So, James, you're going to be introducing the team for the choice of class. Honorary Sergeant. Rachel. Who is going to introduce the school team?
No, that won't take long.
Honorary IST football team. Do you have a list?
I don't have a list of who they are, but this is what
Thank you.
if you want to.
You left me hanging on by a thread?
All together, right?
Where else am I supposed to put it?
So ready? Rachel? Ready, Rachel?
Is it time?
7 o'clock. Yeah, I do. Same here. Council ready? Good evening. I welcome you to the regular town council meeting for January 10, 2020. Please join me in standing for the invocation to be given by Council Member Clark.
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you that we could gather here today and celebrate the Sunnyvale soccer football team. Sunnyvale football team. Thank you that we could gather and address the town's business. Thank you for your many blessings. Please lead us and provide us with wisdom and determination and allow us to make the right decisions for the town. In your name, amen.
Amen. Please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and please be seated. Good evening one more time, and time is 7:01. Let me call to order the regular town council meeting of Town of Sunnyvale for Monday, January 13, 2020. For the record, all council members except Mayor Pro Tem Finch and Mr. Egan are present. With 5 of the 7 council members present, we have quorum. The first item is introduction. I'm going to invite our town manager, Ms. Guthrie, for the introduction of new and promoted employees.
Thank you, sir. I'm very proud to do so. Okay, I have a list of employees that are either new to the organization or have been promoted. So I'm going to start first with Denny Islas. Is Denny here? Oh, there he is. Come on forward, Denny. So Denny is our part-time animal control officer, and this is so important because you all know that Frank has really been running that program single-handedly, so we're very relieved to get somebody who has a wealth of experience and knowledge in this area, and Frank said he has hit the ground running and is already acting independently to allow Frank to have some time off. So welcome to Denny, please.
Denny, welcome.
Okay. Secondly, I have Kevin Pearson, or if you could stay up here, Denny, we got a photo up for you afterwards. We've got Kevin Pearson, our new Economic Development Director. I think we put a bunch out on Facebook and Twitter about him, but he comes to us with a wealth of experience in economic development, most recently from Wichita Falls, and we're really excited to see what he's going to do in our community. So welcome to Kevin, if you want to join Denny. Third, I have Joseph Yaztan Panahi. There will be a test. Joseph is our new IT director, and I'm always happy to see any new employee, but Joseph has, already fixed everybody's phones and is identifying great opportunities for us, so he's going to make a huge impact on our organization. So Joseph, if somebody got that football game on already? All right. And third, I've got Erica Madden is our new Public Relations and Event Coordinator. And Erica has been promoted from the municipal court. She did such great work over there that we promoted her. She's pursuing her bachelor's degree in communications, and she's really going to work with us to enhance transparency and involvement of the community. So welcome, Erica. Next is Darby O'Brien. Darby has formerly been our water utilities clerk, and she also is being promoted now to municipal court clerk. Again, has done a really wonderful job for the organization. And if you don't see a trend here, our goal is to promote from within whenever we can and invest in our own employees. So good job, Darby. Next is Joel Eubanks. Is Joel here? There he is. So Joel has been with the organization for 5.5 years. He is being promoted to Public Works Superintendent. Joel is dripping with credentials. He has his dual certification in water delivery and water treatment. He has, I'm going to mess this up, but he's got a certification in stormwater, and it goes on. And not only that, but he's a great leader. So we're super proud to promote Joel. And then finally, last but not least, is Martin Chavez. There's Martin. And Martin has been promoted to Public Works Lead Inspector, and he will have another inspector under him. And that's really about holding people who are doing development in our community to the highest standards possible. And Martin has been with us for 4.5 years. He also is certified in stormwater and construction stormwater inspections. So he's got some really unique credentials. Plus, he's dual certified in water and wastewater delivery. So this is the promoted and new team members. I hope that you all will welcome them, and we'll get a picture with that great sign that's behind you.
Do we need to close ranks?
Yeah, just use yours.
I know there's a national championship going on, so I am going to skip ahead and go into to the recognition. Item number 3, recognition of the Sunnyvale ISD football team for their outstanding performance during the 2019 season. They finished the 2019 season with a 12-1 record. They only lost to the eventual state champion Pleasant Grove in the 3rd round of the playoffs. Won our 4th district championship in the last 5 years and the 2nd in a row since moving to 4A. Sunnyvale scored a total of 580 points in 13 games. That's 44.6 points per game, and average 51 points per game in district play. The defense gave up 231 points in 13 games. That's only 17.7. And only gave up 70 points in the district play. At this time, I'm going to invite the football team to come forward to be recognized. Council, if you could join me, please.
And superintendent is here
Yes,
as well.
of course, where's the superintendent? Mr. Williams.
Somebody give me a boost. Somebody give me a boost. This is how you control them.
You get shot over here so we can climb up on top of his back.
One more time to come down. One more time, go now? Yeah, we'll. While we are on the recognition, let's stay with item number 4. That is recognition of individuals for their efforts organized in the Toys for Tots campaign in Sunnyvale. I'm going to invite Sergeant Evans to come forward.
This work? Mayor, Council, this was our second year to do Toys for Tots. Each year it gets better. The first year it kind of was a last-minute put-together operation that went very, very well. This year we had a little bit more planning. We, during our Christmas lighting, we had a Toys for Tot donation drive. This year, with the hard work of Gunny Sergeant McNeil, Deputies Tillery, Deputy Watson, and Lieutenant Sherman, 188 kids were provided toys through not only the money that was donated during the Christmas tree lighting, but also during a benefit concert that was held in Deep Ellum earlier in the year. That's 188 kids that got about 6 to 8 toys apiece. So, Mayor, you're the numbers guy, so do the math on that. That's quite a bit of an undertaking. So, I want to take this opportunity to recognize the people behind the scenes, and that was Gunny Sergeant Brian McNeil, Deputy Kevin Tillery, and Deputy Billy Watson. They put in a lot of work. They did a couple different toy drives. I mean, getting that many toys, it takes a lot of truckloads. So again, give them a hand, because that was a lot of work that they went above and beyond. So.
I also want to recognize this team, obviously, and I was there, and also Sergeant Evans for the work he put together. Sergeant Evans, just for the math, that's 1,128, so that's a good number. So, okay. Council, if you could join me, please, for one more time. So who's taking pictures?
One Johnson back in the back, but you can see.
Quite a bit shorter than the last group.
So let's start from the ones that are. Thanks again. Great job. I attended that event, and it was really beautiful. Just to see when the fire truck delivered the Santa, it was. You should have seen the excitement in that area. I know Erika was there to witness that. So great job, our DSO. Okay, now since most of the crowd left, so let's get back into business. Let's get back on announcement. Council, this is the time for announcement. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.0415, the council or staff may report on a few items that's listed on the agenda. Council, are there any announcements you would like to make at this time? Mr. Clerk, you have any?
I'd like to announce Sunnyvale Soccer Association is currently looking for players to join. The Sunnyvale Soccer Association plays in the Forney League. So those of you parents that have kids between the ages of 3 or 4 to about 14, please go to the website, Sunnyvale Soccer Association, and you can sign up for your kids for playing soccer in Forney for the spring. Thank you.
A part of the Sarissa or different?
Separate in the Sarissa.
Okay. Are there any other announcement? Staff? Anyone? Okay, there are no other announcements. So I'm going to close the announcement. Moving on to public forum. This is the time the citizens may come forward and speak to the council on any item other than personnel or matters under litigation. If there are anyone who would like to come forward and speak to the council at this time, please come forward. No one is coming forward, so I am going to close the public forum. Moving on to consent agenda items. Item number 5 and 6. Item 5 is to consider approval of minutes for the joint meeting of the Town Council and the Planning and Zoning Commission held on December 11, 2019. And number 6, consider approval of minutes for the meeting of the Town Council held on December 17, 2019. Would anyone like to remove any of the items from the consent agenda? If not, can I have a motion to approve consent agenda item 5, item number 1 and 2, of item number 5 and 6 as presented?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve items 5 and 6 as presented.
Motion made by Alan to approve consent agenda item number 5 and 6 as presented.
Second.
Second by Mr. Freeman. Everyone heard the motion? Are there additional discussion? All in favor signify. All opposed, motion passed 5-0. Mr. Finch and Mr. Egan are absent. Moving on to the public hearing portion of the agenda, item number 7, to hold a public hearing to consider and act upon a request by the Town of Sunnyvale to approve Ordinance 19-33, the first reading of an ordinance amending the Town Unified Development Ordinance 17-09, duly passed by the Town Council on March 26, 2018, as amended from time to time, so as to review and amend Section 3.06.05.c.10, as well as any other associated section. Mr. Jackson, good evening, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Mayor, Council, staff was directed to review and revise and somewhat clarify the intent for this proposed amendment. There has been some confusion in regards to implementation of the regulation that's noted on the screen there. The current wording with the word addition, it says or addition as it states now, has been can be mistakenly interpreted to allow for the expansion of a legally non-conforming fence. The original intent, the way staff understood it, was you would take the 75% of the existing fence linear feet and allow for expansion or a repair, but not necessarily expansion, or addition. So staff is just trying to clarify that because we've had some issue with that wording.
It's a very complicated change.
Yeah.
Council, are there any questions for staff at this time?
I have a couple of questions, please. Since there, as we discussed before, that you could be repairing part of your fence, is there a time that must pass between the time you do 50% and then you come back and do another 50%?
There hasn't been any situation like that. But no, there's no specific time period that's noted. The idea is just to allow for the
that protects somebody who has a non-conforming fence to continue to have a non-conforming fence by not getting over the 75% at one time.
Correct.
Okay. So our ordinance states that you can't have a fence leaning more than 10%, some technical term there. So if a fence is damaged in a storm and it's 25%, is that considered a repair, or does that require a replacement to a conforming fence?
It would be considered a repair because it's not more than 75% of the entire perimeter based on this regulation.
But our current ordinance, if I'm not mistaken, says that fence has to stand upright within 10 degrees of being perpendicular. So if it's into a situation where it's damaged in a storm, it's 25%, or it's 11%, don't know how we measure that, does that throw them into a complete replacement?
You're talking about how much it's leaning. But if you're going to repair a fence, period, whether it's leaning or not, you're saying what triggers the requirement to repair it? If it's determined by our code officer that it is meeting that criteria or exceeding the 10%, then yes, whatever percentage needs to be repaired, needs to be repaired. If it exceeds to 75%, then they would need to bring it up to proper code.
Okay. So as long as it remains under 75% at one time, and one point in time, they don't have to bring it up to code.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Anything else, Mr. Wade?
No, that's fine. I think we've complicated this to some extent. You know, if somebody wants to replace their fence to the standard that it is today, and you know, frankly, we're targeting privacy fences. You know, somebody wants a privacy fence, they probably want to replace it all at one time. They don't want to make it in 2 or 3 tranches, such that they don't have to lose their privacy fence. So, you know, I think we've created a situation here where you replace fences sections at a time, so you don't trigger the bring it into conformance. Just my 2 cents
They
worth.
complicated by removing the word addition or
No, I think by putting a percentage on it.
percentage already existed or percentage was not there?
Existing legally non-conforming fencing, saying like chain link in the scenario Mr. Wade's talking about, if more than 75% of that fence needed to be repaired, then yes, of course, we don't allow chain link fences anymore. They would need to be either wrought iron or wood.
But somebody could keep their chain link fence if they'll replace 50% today, and since there's no time requirement, they could put 50% next week.
Yeah.
So therefore, they didn't exceed the 75, but they kept their chain link fence. They
But
kept
when-
their wooden privacy fence.
When did we put the 75% speculation? Is that the original change or recently? I can't remember it.
There was some wording like this from the original ordinance during last year. We did the non-residential fence amendments early in 2018, and then it carried over because there was some confusion with regard to 50% opening and this and that along open space areas. This was a part of that amendment, and some of that wording was added. I can't recall whether or not the percentage was touched at that time, but I know this was added.
Do you recall, Mr. Wade, how the
No, I
language was?
don't. I think we got confused when we tried to deal with the non-residential in the same paragraphs that we dealt with residential.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, on the question of the 75%, if that happens, that to a non-conforming fence, then that becomes a code enforcement issue, and they will have to replace the whole fence. Now, to the extent this town does not know how much of the fence is damaged or not, then, you know, as Mr. Wade was saying, it might come in pieces, but to the extent that the town would know, the town has the ability to require that non-conforming fence to come down because it will lose its non-conforming status and will have to be repaired. So,
At 75%.
at 75%, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is there a recommended path forward on, we put 50 or 75, any number can be, you can work it over the years, right? So 25% at 50.
I think at one point it was 50, and it was raised to 75 to address concerns.
I mean, if it's 50, we have the same argument, right? 50
Right.
or 40 or 30 or whatever it is, right? We can still have the same.
But this allows a lot more fence to be repaired
Right.
than 50%, quite a bit more.
And what, the reason this is before you today is because the words "or addition" resulted in a property owner being able to add chain link fence, a non-conforming fence, because the words "or addition" are there. So we're trying to prevent a non-conforming fence to be added and additionally added above and beyond what's already there. And at this point with those words, we couldn't stop that. And so that's why we came to you with this amendment.
Yeah, and what our attorney has pointed out is, yes, there could be a code enforcement issue with regards to dilapidated fence. But if a homeowner wants to replace a fence to make it look nicer or whatever, he's got to bring it, if he does the whole fence, he's got to bring it into conformance when all he wants to do is replace his current fence.
And he can, right? And he can, according to the current, up to 75% they can.
Yeah, up to 75, but what's happened to the other 25? In other words, let me just make it, let's take my fence. I got a privacy fence. Doesn't need replacing by anyway. If I want to replace that fence for whatever reason, I can't replace it with the same fence because it's non-conforming. Mine really isn't, but I've got to replace it all. Or I got to redo it in sections.
Yep.
Doing sections is not really advantageous to the homeowner nor to the town.
Then the option is to make it conforming. If you want to keep it non-conforming because you want to maintain the old type, then I guess the option is to do it in sections.
Right. Okay, just want to clarify that. There's no time limit between repairs, such that you can do one this week and one next month.
This type of regulation is not out of the norm. I've worked in other municipalities where the intent of this type of regulation is to eventually bring
Everything within conformance.
everything into conformance.
Without overburdening the citizens. So you give them a little bit leeway by giving 75%.
Exactly.
Got it. But people can abuse it. That's what you're saying.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not gonna
Yeah.
nitpick. Someone wants to come in and phase it out.
Yeah. This is a lenient approach to citizens.
Correct.
Okay.
Especially with 75%, typically it's like 50% or less.
Okay. Council, are there additional discussions on this topic at this time?
I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Eric, if somebody wants to repair a fence between A and B, and there's a dispute between the two owners, and they come to the town, is that become another issue?
That would be actually a civil matter if the dispute is over the material.
Anything, where you going to put a new post at, or any kind of repair?
We would permit based on the specific property line location shown in the survey. But if there's a dispute with regard to the location, that would be a civil matter between the two property owners.
Thanks.
The reason why this was brought up, this amendment, was somewhat in that type of situation, not necessarily location, but material was changed that was existing, and the addition allowed for chain link to be expanded where it was a shared fence, and the property owner who was abutting didn't want that. So this will.
I guess this is about removing the additions, or removing the interpretation options. Okay, it's a public hearing going to open up for public comments at this time. If anyone from the audience would like to come and speak to the council, please come forward. No one is coming forward. I'm going to close the public hearing. Council, are there additional questions or discussions on agenda item 7? Okay, if not, can I have a motion with respect to item number 7?
Mayor, make a motion to adopt item number 7 as is.
Motion made by Mr. Allen to approve agenda item 7 as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Clark. Motion made by Allen and second by Clark to approve agenda item 7 as presented. Everyone heard the motion? Are there additional discussion? All in favor signify. All opposed? Motion passed 4-1. Voting in favor, Clark, Allen, George, and Freeman. And voting against, Wade, Finch, and Egan are absent. Moving on to item number 8, that is to hold a so before I go to that one, so staff, this will come as a second reading. So would that be a consent agenda item probably? Yeah, I'm going to recommend be a consent agenda item unless council has a disagreement on it. Okay. Moving on to item number 8, hold a public hearing to discuss, consider, and act upon a request by Feroze Shams Global Civil Solutions LLC to approve a specific use designation for laundry, self-service use at site and site plan at or about 330 North Town East Boulevard. So Jackson?
Mayor, Council, the applicant submitted a specific use designation to allow for laundry self-service use. This use will allow patrons to launder clothes and garments on site. This use will be in addition to dry cleaning services to be carried out by employees as well as retail and office components within the building. The latter uses are allowed by right in the local retail zoning district. Unified Development Ordinance requires an SUD for laundry self-service uses. Specific uses are those that require SUD are those that are generally compatible with the permitted land uses in a given zoning district, but require individual review for their location, design, and configuration. Staff has provided additional details with regard to the proposed use, and the applicant is here as well to answer any questions about the business itself. He's also included a letter of intent with the application. The Board of Adjustment granted several variances for the location with regard to the lot size and setbacks due to the odd configuration of the lot. Staff has also addressed some typical conditions or review practices that are to be used and considered when reviewing an SUD. Planning and Zoning Commission voted approval, recommended approval for the proposed use 4-3. Staff recommends approval. All the comments with regard to development of the site have been addressed by the applicant.
So Jackson, Rashad, I have a couple of questions. I drove by there a couple of times. Can you go back to the previous one for me? So Town East, I got it, that's the front of the property. So on the east side is Duncan Academy, correct?
Correct.
And on the west side is the Glenwick resident neighborhood, right?
Yes.
And the south side behind, is that also Duncan? Is that a playground for Duncan?
I believe they still own a portion of that property on the south side. The playground is right next door. That sandy area is their playground.
Yeah, I thought when I drove there this afternoon. Does anyone know from the council, is that behind the?
Behind is the Duncan property.
Is it a property or is it a playground also?
No, it's a property.
Just a property,
Is
vacant
it property?
property. Yes.
Look right here, you can actually see that there's a slide right there in that picture.
Yeah.
That brown area is the playground.
Yeah.
Correct.
Maybe I need to go look. I thought I saw. I saw play area behind. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Okay.
It kind of wraps. I mean, you see the tree
Yeah.
covering portion of it. Yes. On the southeast, there's a portion that's the playground, but a majority of the playground is, of course, right behind the academy.
Right. So let me go ahead.
There's actually a fence back there that kind of divides the two properties. The applicant's property from the Duncan property.
There is a
Fence.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, if you look at the very bottom, you can kind of see it right there, starting to kind of make its way up.
Right. So let me ask you, what is the? And I read through this one again. I didn't read the Board of Adjustment minutes. It says they give variance to requiring 20-foot landscape buffer between. That's behind.
That is between the property and Glenwick.
That's the west side, though.
Yes.
Okay.
The adjacent residential use.
Okay. Is the argument there's already a wall there? That's the reason why they gave?
Well, there's already a wall there, but their concern was the residential use and providing additional screening from that use.
And why, do we know why for Board of Adjustment gave them variance?
Why did they? They were, I'll let, he was there at the meeting.
Good evening, Eric.
Good evening, Council. Eric DeLangel, Town Planner. They granted that variance because they would have been limited in their drive lane and their parking without it. And they found that they could still accommodate the plantings that were necessary. They had, I think, large shade trees every 40 feet, so they would still be able to get that in there, but the distance, I guess the width of the grass area would be smaller. So the intent, I guess, would be to still have the screening, so it would still meet that intent, but they wouldn't have as wide of grass, so.
So two different things, right? Screening is thick bushes which will prevent visibility between two sides.
Yeah.
But you said shade, that's different. You said large trees with shade. That is
So the
not
the
screened.
landscape buffer calls for large shade trees to be planted every 40 feet. And then there's already a screening wall there. So that was where that 20-foot requirement. So they still have the plantings that are required. They just don't have the width that's called for in that ordinance. So it's, I don't know if
lost
that
you.
makes
So
sense.
it's 40?
There's a requirement, a buffer, a number of feet from the residential property to the commercial property, right?
Buffer.
There's a landscape buffer that's required.
Okay.
The applicant requested a variance because of the lot width. In order to fit their drive, the necessary 24-foot drive lane and parking spaces and et cetera, they requested a variance to lower that buffer. You still have the screening wall, and they still have the same amount of trees that would be required of a larger landscape buffer.
Just in 6.5 feet, roughly.
Right.
Okay.
If you go to the next slide, there's I took pictures. You can see in the bottom right picture, that's a picture of the west side of the property and the screening wall. You can't see it too well, but there's already a tree in there, a couple trees, and some kind of dying or decayed bushes, which they'll be putting their new
And
plant.
the south side of the residential area is wrought iron fences, right?
No, it's I believe it's chain link.
The south side of the property is actually,
South side's chain link.
Is it chain link?
Yeah.
there's a screening wall, though. The property, he's wrapped around, there's vacant property behind this proposed development. And then you have Glenwick, where they have the natural screening wall. But yes, there's a chain link fence right behind the property as well that is partially used
So
by.
between the Dunkin' and their property is a chain link.
It's a chain link.
And the Dunkin' and the residential is a wrought iron fence?
I didn't look behind the Duncan property. I know that the Glenwick is completely surrounded by masonry wall.
Yeah.
Not on the south side, I don't think. Okay. Council, other additional questions for,
Can you go back to the previous slide? That's interesting, that red line, excuse me, I'm fixing to.
Yeah. Oh, bless you. Yes, it's
Red line, is that in Glenwick?
no, it's not. What happens is that Dallas County sends us this parcel map. That's where we download the shape files, and I put them into the GIS software. And the way it's overlaid with the aerial makes it seem like their property is.
So their property ends at the wall.
Yes.
Yes, essentially.
Excuse me. That makes a whole lot more sense because this kind of looks strange with the property over on Glenwick.
Yeah.
And that's why we have our GIS, reason why we requested all that. 'Cause it's all over the place at times.
Yeah. I mean, the buffering and the measurements and the distances, angles, and all that is accurate. It just doesn't look quite right when it's overlaid, so.
So my question, and this goes to, I don't know if it's which one. So the zoning for this type of property is, there's not a problem with it being between or that close to a residential area and a preschool?
No.
Okay.
it's a local retail, right?
Yes, it's local retail. The only thing that'd be prohibited is maybe alcohol sales. I think that's.
In which, of course, it's local retail. He doesn't have a proposed end user for those two other suites, but when they do come in, they have to go through the CO process, which will evaluate the proposed use at that time.
I may have additional questions for the applicant later, but Council, any questions for the staff before they sit down? Okay, can I have the applicant come forward, please? Good evening, sir. Would you state your name and address for the record, please?
Okay. My name is Fola Ogunlari. I'm sorry, what was the question, second point?
State your name and address.
Address, I live in Heath, 213 Blue Heron Lane in Heath. Yes, sir.
Are you the applicant or you're?
I'm the applicant.
Okay, so this is your building?
Yes.
Do you have anything else to add to what was, do you have anything else to add or describe on what this?
I do, and I just would like to give the council some background here a little bit, if I may. I want to thank you all for the opportunity. I have been wanting to do this business or construct this building in Sunnyvale for about 2 years. I have personally invested personal money, $200,000 in that place. And what I'm trying to put there is about 1.6 to about 1.7 million. I did not have any indication there was going to be a problem. If I had known there was going to be any problem, I would not have invested my money there. In addition to that, my wife is also vested in Sunnyvale. She has a medical practice here for the last 10 years. Successful medical practice. We felt that this is a place that will accommodate a wide range of businesses. And I was very surprised to learn last week that one of the council members actually went out to lobby a business to protest what I'm planning to do there. And the council member said to the person who called me right after the council member left that he's going to vote no because my business is going to bring hoodlums, riffraffs to the facility, which, if you know what I'm trying to construct here and the investment I'm trying to make, in fact, my personal office is going to be in that building on the second floor. So I have a lot vested there, and I cannot see my property, be infested with people. I run a laundry business today in Garland, and I wish that y'all can go look at what I'm doing in Garland today. You can go Google it and see what comments people are making about the laundry business. There are comments like it's the best laundry in the Metroplex. I mean, it's top of the notch laundry business. Is very high tech. What I'm trying to do is not to run the mom and pop laundry business. What I'm trying to do is to disrupt the laundry business, which is a $40 billion business in the U.S., and do what Uber is doing with the taxi business, which was not a glamorous business to start with. I want to take that whole concept and build that into a laundry and replicate that all over the city. That's my goal. It's not to create a mom and pop shop.
So, sir, can I ask you?
Yes,
so, you said your office is going to be upstairs.
Yes.
Bowflex Incorporated, is that right?
Bowflex.
I tried to Google that business and I couldn't find it. So, okay.
I'd like to give you a copy of the package. It will show you and give you an idea of the building that is going on there, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
On the second page of that package.
So what is a Bofex? Can you explain to me your business, what your business is?
It's both. I want to own real estate and also build businesses in the laundry business. And so Bofex Holding is going to be a combination of the real estate and the laundry business, yes.
Thank you.
If you go on and Google Clean City USA, it's my laundry, and I will encourage everybody to do that. It's a very high-tech laundry business. There are people of various income levels that come. I've never had a problem. I'm in Garland on Broadway, Broadway Commons, right across from Walmart. The Walmart that's on I-30 and Broadway. I'm right there with Walgreens. That's across from Walgreens is a shopping strip. I occupy half of that shopping strip. They don't use, like I said, it's high-tech. They don't use coins or anything there. It's all technology-driven. In the city of Sunnyvale, one of the things that we want to go after are high-income clientele. There are people today that come to my Garland business because they have to wash their comforters and they have to wash their blankets and so on. They can't wash that at home. They got to take it to the dry cleaning people. So I have the huge machines that can do that. And so I see a lot of folks from Sunnyvale that go over there, tell me they're from Sunnyvale. And if you can do one-stop shop, drop off your dry cleaning, drop off your laundry, and head to work. On your way back, pick them up. And if you don't want to pick them up, we do pick-up and delivery service. You can go online and request for delivery service today, and somebody will show up at your house. That's the market I'm going after in Sunnyvale, not people walking in for the most part. I don't see my clientele any different from the clientele at CVS, which is just down the street from me, or Quick Trip. I'm going to be there. It's fully attended. I'm upstairs. The laundry is going to be fully attended. I've never had a problem in Garland. It's the same model. And this is even going to be more sophisticated than that. I wish y'all can give me a chance to do this.
So let me ask you, sir, just clarification. Your chart shows it is 100% attended and highly secured facility.
Yes.
Is that 24? What's your operating hours?
Operating hours are 7 to 10.
7 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Yes.
And there'll be somebody
always
managing always.
At least one. There are 1 or 2 people there. There are people going out and picking up. We have customers all over the place. We have customers in Sunnyvale. They pick up, they drop it off. You know, people are always constantly coming in and out. We do Hilton Hotel in Rockwall. We do Hampton Inn for all the people staying in there. That's the market I'm going after. I'm not going after small people walking in and just, dropping their laundry. Doing their laundry.
But this has self-service also, right?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there are people that want to come in, sure. To do laundry, but we have attendants there that can help them, especially with the technology that I use. People don't use coins or anything like that anymore. They use, in fact, I can show you.
Is it a membership card or something?
This is Clean City. It's a debit card. And you go to a kiosk, you put your money in, you dispense the card, and you can go use the card to start the machines and so on. You take Visa, MasterCard, you go to the front of the machine, you put your Visa, MasterCard, you start, or you can use your phone. I'd like to give you some background on myself, if I may, please. I worked 31 years with IBM as an engineer. I have a bachelor's and master's degree in engineering and a master's degree in industrial management 31 years ago in the US. I retired from IBM, senior management level. I really don't need to do this. It's my passion to do something around now. We're very happy here in this neighborhood. My wife walks down the street. Her practice is right next to the hospital there. She's been there for 12 years.
Can I ask you one other question?
Yes, sir.
Maybe to the staff. Since this is adjoining the neighborhood,
Yes, sir.
and I know that's a second story, are there any windows facing the neighborhood, or there are no windows?
It showed,
I couldn't quite tell. Tight look, I couldn't tell quite.
I'll double check right now, but the renderings I saw did not show windows facing the neighborhood. They were
You
facing
mean
the
facing the
street.
windows from my office will.
From the transom windows at the top.
Yeah, windows at the top will. And there are,
Windows will face the neighborhood?
you're talking the street, the main?
The neighborhood, backyard of Glenwick.
No, there won't be
No.
windows.
I'm seeing a south elevation, and you correct me if I'm wrong.
Let me interject
South elevation
that
is
Duncan
showing-
Academy has a second story also.
Yes.
They do?
That's facing,
I'm
No
pretty sure
windows
that,
in the back.
Okay.
There'll be windows on this side.
there you go. The elevation on the second one, the south elevation, that is facing Glenwick to the south, of course.
Is that the first floor or second floor?
But that elevation is showing first and second. You see the
no windows.
on the left side, the top elevation on the left side, you see that's the two-story part,
I see.
and that's facing
Town east.
Town East.
Gotcha.
The elevation below that, that's the rear of the building. That's facing Glenwick. The other two elevations are the east and west.
Duncan, right?
Yeah, the Duncan and
the Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Council question for the applicant.
Yeah, if I may just add one
Yes,
more
sir.
thing, sir.
Yes.
I spoke with John Duncan. He's a very good friend of mine who owns the daycare next door. I mean, he's known everything that I've been wanting to do for the last 2 years. In fact, he's been talking to me about maybe buying the building that he's in. And the reason why he wants to do that is because on Beltline, there is another daycare that the owners of the daycare are getting ready to retire, and it's bigger. So he would like to move over there and, grow his business from there. So he told me, and right now I'm having some people look at it to see if there's something that I might be able to do with the building. So he may not even be there.
Anything else, sir?
No, that's it. I wanted to.
Council, any question for the applicant? Anybody? Okay. Well, thank you very much. Please
Thank
take a
you.
seat. So this is a public hearing portion of the agenda, so I'm going to open up the session for public comments. If anybody from the audience would like to come forward and talk about this particular topic, please come forward. No one is coming forward, so I am going to close the public hearing. Council, are there additional discussions or questions on this topic?
I have one.
Mr. Freeman?
So if we were talking about this being not a self-service laundromat, there would be no issue whatsoever for this being approved,
Correct.
right? There would be no reason for it to come in and be a special use designation.
It would still have to go through the site plan process.
Yeah, of course, still go through the same, but as far as what we're here for today, the special use, the reason is because it is a self-service
Portion.
wash.
Yes.
Why was the designation put on self-service?
I couldn't answer that question for you, sir. I don't know if it was in the original zoning ordinance from the 2000s, but since 2017, the land use table has shown this specific use as a SUD. So I couldn't tell you the reason why.
Thank you.
Mr. Wade, you have a question or a comment?
No, maybe a comment. I was not the council member who went and did whatever it was, but I did talk to Jim Duncan, and I know John Bryan, and they have no problems with this facility. I was glad to hear that. I wanted their opinions. So I don't seem to have a qualm with this. The only piece of instruction I might give is, sir, we'd like to have you as a resident here in Sunnyvale. So come on up here where your wife works and you've got a business.
Is that it, Mr. Wade?
Yeah, it's fine. I'm okay.
Are there additional comments from the council? Mr. Allen?
Yeah, Mayor, I have a question. With regards to staffing, did you say there'll be somebody there the entire time that the facility is open? Is that correct? 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., and then you'll have somebody there?
Yes, sir.
I think my only concern is not the washateria itself at all, would be the safety of the kiddos next door to it. And, you know, if there's some, I guess that's my second question. Is there any, well, if you're going to be fully staffed, then I think that sort of eliminates any concern that I might have with regards to the safety of the kiddos.
It is fully staffed. In fact, that's why I welcome to come to Garland and see what I've done in Garland. I have, in fact, I have one of my guys. I wish we could show you the view of what's going on in Garland. We always have staff with their name on their uniform, welcoming people in as they come into the laundry. Because of the technology, we're afraid that some people might not know what to do right away, so they need assistance. Half of the time, we end up helping them, especially getting that card from the kiosk. Fully staffed, and there are, like I said, in addition to that, I have people coming in and out, picking up from all over the place, from Rockwall, from Garland, from all neighborhoods within a 10-mile radius of that particular facility.
Is that your staff?
Yes.
So that is, there is a staff always present at the facility from 7 to 10.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Then
yeah.
you got other people coming in and out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And in fact, what I want to do in Sunnyvale is going to be the showpiece. This is not the showpiece. You know, this will be small compared to in Garland, compared to what I want to do here. It's going to be fully automated in Garland, in Sunnyvale. And if it works the way I'm looking at it, I want to now replicate that all over the place, especially in growing cities like Plano, Frisco, and all that, where you have a lot of people moving from. And then you have all these high-tech, companies that are moving in with two-income earners, people don't want to do laundry and all that. It's just a big, big opportunity. It's a $40 billion business in the U.S. People don't know that. But it needs time for disruption, just like the taxi business was until Uber came along and knocked that out. It's taxi. It's going to be laundry, and it's just going to be done in a different way.
Mr. Freeman?
Are you saying you do bulk laundry as well?
Sorry, somebody asked me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Right here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you say you do bulk laundry as well?
Do what? Bulk?
Laundry, like someone comes in and drops off the laundry?
Yes.
Is that what
Oh,
you're
yeah.
saying?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And when you say fully automated, does it fold as well?
Yes.
It good?
Oh,
Okay.
well,
I was going to say, if you can fold it, you got my
goal,
business.
Again, is even on the folding side,
Mm-hmm.
because there are machines now that can do all that for you. Oh, yeah. It
Interesting.
will take your shirts and all that, it will fold it.
Is that part of your business?
That is going to be part of it.
Thank you.
Staff, I have a question for you. So the PNC voted this 4-3.
Right.
Again, I didn't read the minutes. What was the main objection from them?
I don't know if it was overly specified, just concerns with the business. Mr. Foley kind of explained the same details they explained to y'all tonight. Some had concerns with it being adjacent to the residential. Some had concerns with access. But all those concerns have been reviewed by our engineering staff, myself, the fire department.
And the police also?
Police, no. I mean, the driveway is already existing. This is just tying into what was already there. There's a little curb cut there now.
Okay. So,
Can I just add to that, sir?
come on up, sir. Because there are people watching and I want to make sure they hear you.
Oh, okay. When I came for the P&Z meeting, I've never been to a meeting like this before. I didn't know what to expect. You know, I was just thinking I would sit down and they would call and then say, okay, they will talk to the staff and then everything will be approved and then I'm gone. Well, I was asked to come up forward and very unprepared. I didn't know what to expect. So the questions really got me by surprise, really. Things like security. I mean, very simple questions that I could deal with. I wasn't sure where they were all coming from. I thought, look. And while I was even sitting down, somebody was trying to Google if the laundry actually existed that I talked about in Garland. And it was just not what I was expecting that day. So I was very, very unprepared to answer their questions. Yes.
Thank you. Rochelle, let me ask you. So there are two residents who objected to this application.
Correct.
And I read through them. One was about lights and noise from the building into the residential area.
Right.
Do you consider that, I mean, I'm trying to visualize in my mind how much noise comes out and how much light emit out of the building.
I wouldn't foresee any concerns with noise. Lighting will be restricted by our regulations we have in place for all non-residential businesses. So the foot candles will be 0.2 at that property line,
Okay.
no matter what.
And also they talk about traffic into the neighborhood. Traffic, obviously, down east has quite a bit of traffic.
Right. I don't,
Is that residential area? I can't see the residential area one way or impacted because of this business.
they won't have a problem getting in and out of their residential property. That Glenwick entrance should not be affected by this.
And there's no reason for this traffic to go there either, right?
No.
And there was a concern about flooding concern within Glenwick as more concrete parking lot is added. I don't know if there was a flooding concern in Glenwick. I know there are other parts of the town has issues. I never heard about a flooding issue in Glenwick. Is that something which staff is aware of?
Not that I'm aware of. And if required during the civil review, the law does a civil review. If detention is required, it'll be requested.
Okay. I'm just trying to make sure that, we walk through the issues residents brought up. Okay, Council, I think that's all I have. Additional questions or discussions on this topic?
I just want to make a comment about Councilmember Allen's comment. That was one of my specific concerns when I went to talk to Mr. Duncan, and he did not seem to have any concerns about the safety and security of his children. He didn't seem to have any problems with that. He's met with the applicant. He's very comfortable with the applicant. I know that they have talked about some additional property acquisition there. So I think these are going to be very compatible businesses. It's going to get another property that's been hard to developed by somebody who wants to operate it and be on site. So I think this is a very great opportunity for us to have something of this nature in that area of town. Now, there is another Cleaners in town, contrary to some of the written verbiage, but not of this magnitude.
Is that Mr. Wade? Council, anybody else? Any comments? Okay, if there are no other discussions or comments, I think I completed the public hearing, right, Susan? Okay. With that, if not, I'm going to ask for a motion on agenda item 8.
I'll make a motion to approve agenda item 8.
As presented?
As presented.
Motion made by Mr. Clark to approve agenda item 8 as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Clark and seconded by Mr. Wade to approve agenda item 8 as presented. Are there additional discussions on this topic? If not, all in favor signify. All opposed, motion passed 5-0. Welcome to Sunnyvale. Thanks for being here. Moving on to item number 9, discuss, consider, and act upon Resolution 20-01, a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Sunnyvale, Dallas County, Texas, casting its vote for the 4th member of the Board of Directors of the Dallas Central Appraisal District. Ms. Guthrie?
Yes, sir. We were contacted by the appraisal district asking that we do vote in this part of the process. Earlier this week, you were sent the 2 candidates that you'll be voting on, Mona Dixon or Michael Hurt. Also at your place, I believe, Rachel printed out their biographies. So at this time, we would just ask you to nominate and vote on your vote for the appraisal district.
So we got Michael Hurt and Mona Dixon. Do I have a public discussion on this also?
We recommend having public discussion on each item, sir.
Okay, I'm going to ask for public comments. If anyone from the audience would like to come forward and speak to the council, please come forward. No one is coming forward, so I'm going to close the public comments. Council, we have 2 applicants. I think council needs to vote for one to be appointed for the 4th seat, 4th member of the Board of Directors of the Dallas Central Appraisal District. Council, are there any discussions on this one? If not, can I have a motion with nominating one of the 2 as the 4th member of the Board of Directors of the DCAD?
Mayor, you want us to actually nominate one of them as opposed to just going through and doing a vote to see which one we would
Yeah,
prefer?
nominate one, and then when you can vote, right? If there's
Okay.
majority, then that's where it goes, right?
All right, I would like to nominate Michael Hurt.
Okay. Motion made by Mr. Freeman to be voting for Michael Hurt as the 4th member of the Board of Directors of DCAD. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Wade. Motion made by Freeman, second by Wade, nominating Michael Hurt as the 4th member of the Board of Directors of Dallas Central Appraisal District. So we go vote, right, Ms. Guthrie? Okay. So everyone in favor of the motion signify. Motion passed 5-0. Michael Hurt is voted from Sunnyvale as the 4th member of the Board of Directors of DCAD. Thanks, Council. Moving on to item number 10, Discuss, consider, and act upon adopting Resolution 20-02, a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Sunnyvale, Texas, approving a desire to join a coalition of non-member customer entities of the North Texas Municipal Water District and providing an effective date. Ms. Guthrie?
Yes, sir. I was invited to a meeting by the city of Rowlett, particularly the mayor, Tammy Dana Bushane, and what they were doing is talking about the North Texas Municipal Water District and some of the issues that customer cities have. As you know, we're not a member city, we're a customer city, so ergo we do not have a seat on the board and are really not part of major decision-making for the district. So what they're proposing is to form a coalition of the customer cities, and then use that coalition to come up with some principles and a vision and a strategy to deal with the North Texas Municipal Water District in terms of having representation and more transparency. You can see in her letter and in the resolution that broad goals are set, but not specifics, that once we decide to join the coalition, we'll get together with them and determine what specifically everyone agrees we would be working towards. We did go ahead and include our take or pay charts for recent history, just because for them, that's one of the major issues that they do have, is their take or pay situation is much worse than ours. But I think their point is that the way the rate structure is structured, it could negatively impact anyone, and they'd like to see that changed and to have a take or pay or a pay situation that encourages conservation, and clearly the current model does not. So I've included all the materials for you, and wanted to get your opinion on adopting a resolution to join the coalition or not.
Is the expectation that, I understand, strength in numbers, I got it, right?
Yes, sir.
So the expectation that if there's a coalition, then the coalition may get a seat on the board, or?
There was some discussion of that in the meeting, that may be a goal, is that all of the customer cities together may end up with one seat. I mean, that I think would be a goal that they might have, but at a minimum, just to have more of a voice.
Okay. I'm going to get public comments, I'll come back to you, okay? So this time I'm going to take public comments. Anyone from the audience would like to come forward and speak to the council, please come forward. No one is coming forward, so I'm going to close the public comments. Council, Mr. Freeman, please.
So when I was looking at this, and it sounds as if we join with all these towns, we have a greater voice, but then also maybe it kind of holds us to decisions that maybe aren't beneficial to us down the road. I mean, I know the take or pay, I think we're all on board with. Do you mean as town, as a member of the town, do you have kind of ideas as to what do you think is it kind of the same thing? It sounds like there's a lot of benefit, but then we also have being tied along with whatever goes down at that point.
So let me ask you differently. Do we have any say at all at this time?
I mean, yeah.
No, sir. Yeah, we're
There's
just a
absolutely
customer.
zero say now.
Okay.
Perhaps you're right? The coalition will represent our voice at that time.
Sure.
But at least hopefully there'll be some voice. Right now we're 0 versus some. Is that a
That's
fair
correct.
statement?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And I would assume we're the smallest town in the coalition.
Well, there's others that are of similar size, and there's also some like
Municipal utility
muds.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I think it's a great idea. And, just as anytime we join an organization like this, I think we need to remember to keep our own self-interest. But I think overall, I think this could give us a little say and could help us out. So I'm all for it.
Mr. Wade?
Again, I think this is a great opportunity. As you know, this is being spearheaded probably because of the lawsuit against North Texas Municipal Water District because of the take or pay issue. And we don't have a say in any of that because we're a customer. But I think a coalition could probably draw a little more attention if there really goes to a lawsuit. Might get a bigger say. As you know, we've got a contract that doesn't expire to 2027. We triggered that take or pay provision this year, which increased the amount of water now we have to pay for. That hadn't occurred since, I believe, like 2001. So we paid for water we didn't get this year. But we set a new, we set the new record in 2017, but in 2018 we had to pay for water that we didn't use. I think this is a good opportunity for 23 cities and customers to join together to put a little more weight in the fact that y'all have got a problem and we need to fix it. And we may get stuck to 2027, but maybe there'll be some movement when you've got 4 cities suing them and 23 potentially combined to say this ain't fair. Don't know if it's going to cost us anything.
Yeah.
Usually in coalitions, there's membership fees and things like that. So it may cost us a little bit, but we've paid those kinds of things before. So that won't be the first time we've had to pay to participate.
I'm sure Susan will keep us updated if there's a significant expense. Hopefully.
Yeah,
won't be
absolutely. And I mean, just, I guess my position on it was, I feel like we should go forward and see what it's about and see what the goals end up being. And, nothing is unbreakable. If we don't agree with the direction it's headed, we don't have to stay in it. But as long as we do agree and there's benefit, I think we do so.
Okay. Council, additional discussions on this topic? Okay, if not, can I have a motion with respect to item number 10?
Motion to approve resolution is currently stated.
Motion made by Mr. Clark to approve resolution number 10, or item number 10 as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Freeman to approve resolution 2002 or agenda 10 as presented. Everyone heard the motion? Are there additional discussions? All in favor signify. All opposed, motion passed 5-0. Thank you, Ms. Guthrie, for bringing it up. Moving on to item number 11. Discuss, consider, and act upon a code submitted by Paradigm for traffic signal work at Stony Creek, Collins Road, Redstone, Hounslow, Collins. Mr. Creed, good evening.
Council.
Yeah.
We asked for a quote to add left turn signals at the corner of Collins, Hounslow, and Redstone, and also to add callable pedestrian crossings across Hounslow and across. They have the pedestrian heads, but they don't have the push buttons to make them callable across from Redstone to Hounslow and Collins. We're also wanting to add some pedestrian crossings across Stony Creek at Collins. And that's what this quote is for.
And this is through the buy board, right?
It is through Bible Board, yes, sir.
For a total of what, 13,678,000?
13, yes, sir.
Okay.
13,678.
Okay, thank you. Council, any question for Mr. Creed?
So the pavement markings are already there, it's just the push buttons?
Yes, sir. The two ped heads are there. In other words, the ones that show you to walk and don't walk at Hounslow and Redstone, but they're not callable. So what happens is the light automatically warrants a green light across from Redstone to Hounslow, even if there's no cars there to warrant it, because a pedestrian could not call it without a push button, so we automatically cycle it. But that will go back to leaving it green most of the time on Collins, and will only change if there's a callable pedestrian or it's warranted by a vehicle pulling into the lane.
So they improve the throughput, basically, right? The traffic throughput will get better, right?
Correct.
Hopefully.
Correct. That's the theory, yes, sir.
Mr. Clark?
And this is for all 3, or is it for all 4?
Well, it would be 3 crossings. It would give you talking about all 4 left turns or the crossing. Yeah, it will. We already have current left turns, protected left turns onto Collins. This would give you protected left turns off of Collins at that intersection. And then there would
All
be
buttons would be on all corners, all 4 corners.
It would be where there's crossings. So there would be on the south side of crossing from Redstone to Hounsel, and then on the east side of Collins, crossing Hounsel, would be a crosswalk on both sides. Yeah, everywhere there's a crosswalk or there's a sidewalk, we're adding the pedestrian crossings.
Additional questions? Thank you, Mr. Creed. I'm going to open up for public comments. If anyone from the audience would like to come forward and speak to the council, please come forward at this time. No one is coming forward, so I'm going to close the public comments. Council, are there additional discussions on agenda item 11? If not, can I have a motion with respect to item number 11?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to accept item 11 as presented.
Motion made by Mr. Freeman to approve agenda item 11 as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Allen. Everyone heard the motion? Are there additional discussions or comments? If not, all in favor signify. All opposed, the motion passed 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Creed. Moving on to item number 12. Discuss, consider, and act upon an advance funding agreement from TxDOT for utility relocations required for the upcoming State Highway 352 project. Mr. Jenkins? Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. Thank you. A little bit of background on this. As y'all are aware, TxDOT has proceeded forward with their plans to widen State Highway 352 in Sunnyvale from US Highway 80 down to the southern town limits with Mesquite. We're going to be taking the existing 4-lane undivided thoroughfare, making it a 6-lane divided thoroughfare with median in it with protected left turns and additional infrastructure enhancements. The town of Sunnyvale has existing water lines in this right-of-way. Because TxDOT is widening this road, we are required to move those water lines to get them out from under the proposed street and avoid conflicts with other proposed infrastructure that's going to be in this corridor. The advanced funding agreement will provide for this work to be done by whoever the contractor ends up being for the overall project, as opposed to us having to design and send it out to bid and build it ourselves. That's kind of really the essential of it. Essentially, basically makes it easier on the town, and it allows this work to be done in a more timely fashion and not hold up the overall project. The amount has been set forth in the agreement that we would be expected to pay. That is based on current engineering estimates from our consultant that put the design plans together for the work. TxDOT has agreed to a funding agreement, payment plan that's set forth in the agreement. Susan and Liz, if y'all wanted to speak to more of the details of the funding agreement, I would turn it over to y'all for that.
Well, I'll chime in that we did try to negotiate, I think, what did I start at, a 20-year suggestion, and then we got down to a 7-year, and ultimately from kind of the leadership in TxDOT, it came back that 5 years was the max that we could do. You know, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around this, but when you kind of step back and think about we're paying $8.5 roughly million for the segment of Collins here, and we're going to get even more of a significant improvement in an area where I really think it needs it, because, you know, you're when I got here and you're driving down there and all of a sudden somebody stops to turn left and, you know, there's nowhere to go. So we're going to get this tremendous improvement that's probably a $10 million value, and our portion, at least, and our portion's going to be $730-something thousand. I think it's probably a good deal for us to get this project done and contribute this amount, and the fact that they're willing to carry it and we don't have to issue debt to pay for it, it's probably a decent deal. So.
Again, remind me again, so the utility relocation is planned for the summer of 2020, correct?
Well, the project is going to start construction in the summer of 2020, yes, sir.
That's the project as in the road construction.
The road, right. I mean, the utility work won't necessarily be the first thing they do, but it will be part of that project that will start construction in 2020. They expect to let the project for bidding in March. We will be attending the pre-bid meetings that TxDOT will be conducting just to make sure that our interests are represented moving forward. And if a change order or something like that was to come up, we would have the right of comment on anything like that before TxDOT approves it.
And do we know at this time what's the ending, the period of performance? How long is the contract going to be from summer to?
TxDOT has not shared that information with us yet, sir.
Thank you. That's not the issue here, okay.
And then just a reminder that, so that annual payment of $150,000 will be paid for out of the water utility fund. And I believe that we did include information in your packet that showed that we have run projections and we're able to meet that.
That's the next agenda, right?
That's the budget amendment because we're amending the budget, but yes.
Council, any questions for staff at this time?
Just one question, on the 150, is that with interest, or is that just a straight fee we're going to pay back?
They did not charge us interest.
Thank you.
That's correct.
Lyle, can you clarify, the background information says it's a 6-lane divided median. The AFA says it's a 4-lane divided roadway. Which is right, or are they both right, and I just don't understand it?
All I can tell you on that, sir, is looking at the plans that TxDOT's provided for us, it does call for 3 lanes each direction with the addition of left turn lanes in the appropriate locations to provide for turning traffic. If TxDOT may have inadvertently put 4-lane on there, that may be something we could have them edit, but it is going to be a 6-lane road.
Okay, so we might want to make sure that our AFA repeats the 6 lanes so we don't get something different.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Are there additional questions for staff?
So,
Clark?
so this is supposed to start, bidding will start in March of this year.
Yes, sir,
So
that's
in
correct.
3 months. And when are they supposed to finalize contractors?
Well, they're saying they're going to start construction this summer. As far as the details of what specific date it's going to be awarded, I just don't have that information yet. It's just going to depend on TxDOT's process, but it would certainly be, I would say by May at the latest, but that's just my estimate based on having seen how they work.
Okay. And when's the project supposed to be finished?
They haven't shared an overall time frame with us on that yet, sir, so I can't answer that. I would expect it to take at least a year for construction, just due to the nature of everything that has to be done. But they have not given a specific ending date at this time.
Right. Okay. Now, with that going on over the next year, then also our current work north of that, are those projects going to be basically, are they going to discuss them together, so we try to make it as smooth as possible?
We'll certainly work with them as we get to that point. There is going to be an overlap time where both those projects are going to be progressing at the same time, and unfortunately, that's just inevitable. But we'll work with them to minimize the disruption to the public as these things move forward.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
Are there additional discussions on this topic? Lal, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to open the time for public comments. If anyone from the audience would like to come forward and speak to the council about item number 12, please come forward. No one is coming forward, so I'm going to close the public comments. Council, are there additional discussions on item number 12? If there are none, can I have a motion with respect to item number 12?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve item number 12. I think with the addition of the adjustment to the documentation, as Councilman Wade referenced, that we have 6 lanes on both pieces of documents.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Allen with a minor amendment. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Clark. Everyone heard the motion? Are there additional discussions? All in favor signify. All opposed, motion passed 5-0. Thank you, Lyle, once again. Moving on to item number 13, discuss, consider, and act upon the first reading of ordinance 20-01 and ordinance amending ordinance 19-31, which made appropriations for the support of the town of Sunnyvale for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2019 and ending September 30th, 2020, and amending the annual budget of the town of Sunnyvale for the year 2019 to 2020. Utility Fund. Ms. Hopkins, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As it says, this is the budget amendment that is the formality in executing that advanced funding agreement. All the information, the numbers from Lyle's memo is the same as mine. As Susan explained, we will be paying this out of working capital. We did do a working capital analysis to make sure that we were comfortable that the utility fund could sustain these payments. So unless you have any questions.
Council, any questions for Ms. Hopkins? Okay, I'm going to open up the comments from the public. If there are any comments from the public on item number 13, please come forward. No one is coming forward, so I'm going to close public comments. Council, are there additional discussions or questions on item number 13? If not, can I have a motion with respect to 13, please?
Motion to approve item number 13 as presented.
Motion made by Mr. Freeman to approve agenda item 13 as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Clark. Everyone heard the motion? Are there additional discussion? All in favor signify. All opposed, motion passed 5-0. Thank you, Ms. Hopkins. Moving on to item number 14, discuss, consider, and act upon purchasing 6 radar units for the Sunnyvale Police Department. Chief, good evening.
Evening, Mayor, Council. This is just a necessary equipment item in a list of equipment items we're going to ask y'all to approve over the next several months. It's actually for 8 radars. It's a promo. If you buy 3, you get 1 free. So for the total price, we're actually getting 8 instead of 6.
So the promotion is still valid, even though it's after December 17th?
Yes, sir. Well, I had to go ahead and tell him that we would do it, and he said if for some reason y'all disapproved it, then they just cancel the order because it doesn't ship till February.
Gotcha. Council, any question for Chief? Okay, I'm going to open the public comments. If anyone from the audience would like to come forward, speak to the council on item number 14, please come forward. No one is coming forward, so I'm going to close the public comments. Council, are there additional discussions on item number 14? If not, can I have a motion with respect to 14, please?
Motion to approve item number 14.
Motion made by Mr. Allen to approve item number 14 as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Freeman. Everyone heard the motion? Are there additional discussions on this topic? If not, all in favor signify. All opposed? Motion passed 5-0. Thank you, Chief. Moving on to item number 15, discuss, consider, and act upon appointing candidates to serve as members of the 4B Economic Development Board of Directors. Ms. Ramsey?
Mayor and Council, as you all know, we do this every year. We did our regular appointments back in September, but we held off on 4B due to the 4A election. So since the 4A election is done, I'm bringing to you the 4B members. Member Giordano has termed out. The other ones up for reappointment are Miss Anthony, Miss Bradford, and then Mr. Van Wiesem has expressed that he does not wish to be reappointed. So you have 3 applicants in front of you on the dais today.
So Miss Nikki Anthony and
Bradford wish to be
Sarah
reappointed.
Bradford needs to be reappointed.
Yes,
If
sir.
the council pleases to do so. And there are 2 positions. One, Michael Giordano, term limited, and Mr. Van Wiesem do not wish to continue, correct? Is that right?
Correct.
There are 4 appointments, and we have 3 applications. I saw one from Capor Cash, one from Terry Shatter, and there is one from Larry D. McLaughlin. Have you interviewed Larry at all? I can't remember.
We did not.
We haven't.
We held off on all interviews for this
Gotcha.
board.
So this is the one gentleman who couldn't make some other meetings. Okay,
Correct.
got it. So, council, we can do two different ways. We can talk about Nikki, Anthony, and Sarah Bradford first, if we choose to. That'd be good. Sure. Any public comments on this one? Okay. I'm going to open up the forum for public comments. If anyone from the audience would like to come forward and speak to the council, please come forward. No one is coming forward. I'm going to close the public comment. Yes, sir. I do have a question. Yes. So I'm going to open up for council discussions.
I did have a question because as I was looking at this chart you'd sent, it looked like Mr. Bokniak said that he was willing to serve again, except his board is no longer valid. But I did not see an application for him on 4B. Did he decide that he did not want to do 4B? That was only 4A was to stay available?
Yes, before I put this forward to you, I did send an email to all of the 4A members and told them that they had an opportunity to volunteer to serve in the 4B and asked who was interested. He did come back with some questions, but did not indicate a desire to apply to serve on 4B. The only two that did were Terry Shatter and K-Paul.
Excellent. Yeah, and it was just because I saw that chart and it said yes, and I was like, well, if it's yes, is it yes, or just these applicants are okay? Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, sir.
We checked the mail recently, right?
Yeah, check it every day, sir.
Okay, council, let's make it easy. Let's go with two candidates or two board of directors who are already here. Already there, Nikki Anthony and Sarah Bradford. Can we have a motion with respect to them?
Mayor, I make a motion to reappoint both Nikki Anthony and Sarah Bradford for another term on 4B.
That's what, 2 years?
For a 2-year term.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Freeman to reappoint Nikki Anthony and Sarah Bradford for 2 more years.
Second.
Motion seconded by Mr. Clark. Everyone heard the motion? Are there additional discussions? All in favor signify. All opposed, motion passed 5-0. Okay, so we got, at least most of us know K-Paul and Terry Shadow. Larry McLaughlin. Let me try to make it simple. Does anyone else the desire or any information on McLaughlin you feel like he will be a better candidate than the other two? I'm not directing, suggesting, I'm just discussing.
One question.
Yes, sir.
How many more spots are open? Do we have 2 more? And
Yes.
currently we have 3.
Michael Giordano's and Michael Van Wessams.
Okay, okay.
Mr. Reddy, you have a comment?
Yeah, I certainly do not have a problem with the applicants Terry Shatter and K. Paul Cash because of their current service on the 4A board. I am the one who encouraged Larry McLaughlin to apply. He's a very good candidate, a very experienced candidate, wants to be involved in our town. So, but I do understand that we only have 2 positions, and I understand we have 3 very good candidates.
Do you prefer Laughlin over one of the 2?
Terry Shatter and K. Paul Cash are very qualified candidates.
Okay.
Mayor, we have an unusual situation this year where we eliminated 4A and then we have 4B, so it gives us the opportunity to put the 2 people in a position into another position. And I appreciate Councilman Wade's support for the gentleman he nominated. I think that we're just kind of an unusual situation. Maybe we take those 2 and allow them to continue to serve on 4B.
Okay. The additional discussions. So Van Wessam's term expired, and also Giordano. So both the candidates will be appointing will be for 2 more years, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay, if there are no additional, yes, Mr. Clark?
One comment. So, because we have 3, whoever does not have the spot. We have some spots on the events committee.
On
that
which
we would
committee?
love events committee.
Yes.
We would love help on the events committee. So
Yes.
whichever one does not get to 4B,
Yeah.
we would love to get them on the events committee.
Yeah. Okay. Other additional discussions? Okay, if not, can I have a motion with respect to item number 15? I'm looking for two candidates.
Mayor, I'd make a motion to nominate, or nominate, I'm not sure how we're going to do that.
Appoint, yeah, maybe.
Appoint Terry Shatter and K. Paul Cash in the 2 vacant spots.
Okay. Motion made by Mr. Allen to appoint K. Paul Cash and Terry Shatter for 2 years starting 2019 to the 4B Development Corporation. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Clark. Everyone heard the motion? Are there additional discussions? All in favor signify. All opposed, motion passed 5-0. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Ms. Rachel Ramsey. Moving on to item number 16, staff presentation to provide an update on staff efforts to launch a Town of Sunnyvale CERT, Citizens Emergency Response Team Program. Chief?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, I basically want to bring to you a kind of an update or some more history that we want to give to the town, so that way the town of Sunnyvale can create their own CERT team. We call the CERT team, obviously, the Citizens Emergency Response Team. Basically, the background has been that CERT was developed in California area where the neighbors could rely on and be trained to rely on each other during an emergency or disaster within their neighborhoods before the first responders could to get to them. So that has definitely spread throughout the country. A lot of good CERT teams are out there supporting their community and supporting each other. And we are in the process of working with East Texas Emergency CERT teams to coincide with them to include the training and whatnot. We are in the process of advertising for folks to come to the training because this is something, a CERT team is a team that's going to have training. And this is going to be something that's going to be going on in February in Rowlett. And then there's some more CERT training that's going to be in Rockwall in February. What we want to do tonight is actually get the word out that we are serious in developing a CERT team. We want that support from the community if we can, and be part of the community in case of emergencies where we can be out there and helping each other. So as I said earlier, it is a training opportunity. It's not something that we just throw out there to you and say, here, you're on the team. It's actually some training that they have to go through. It's 2 days of training. And then once that happens, then there's obviously more training as they continue to serve on the committee. Going into search and rescue, my experience with a CERT team is once they do a lot of training, which that's a good thing because that's how they hold their attention, if you will. They do a lot of different types of searches, disaster medical training, and that sort of thing. That they provide. So you are going to be trained. We're going to train you. And then my experience is that the CERT teams that I've been involved with were able to go to other cities during disasters, Lancaster during tornadoes in Rowlett and Garland. So it's a great opportunity for the community to be involved. And again, as I say, the training includes a lot of good stuff, whether you have your disaster training and the medical side of it. Rescue is actually for, we have lost kids or adults. They can be called up, and we're not going to just only have a Sunnyvale cert, we can have a whole complete cert response from other communities to be able to help us. So, as I said before, Rowlett is having one in February. It's a Saturday, the 1st and the 8th. They are asking for a $20 course fee for their material. And as we're moving forward and trying to get very aggressive with this, there will be another training in February, I think in Rockwall. And we are putting this stuff on our Facebook. We're doing social media so that way we can really get the word out. The director of the East Texas CERT has sent me an email today that he's including town of Sunnyvale and asking for volunteers for them, through them as well for Sunnyvale. So,
Is that a different class Mr. Rose was talking about? I thought February 9th and 16th is.
the same one.
Okay, so the date seems to be a little bit different, so.
So what we're trying to promote is if you can't make Rowlett, hopefully that you can make the Rockwall one. And then Plan C is that we're going to try to put one on here in ourselves in Sunnyvale.
Okay. And this 20, his email indicates a free service, it's a free class, but there's a $20 cover pay.
Yeah, the Rowlett deal, the $20 was for their administrator, for the books and things like that they're going to be providing to their team or in their training.
Okay.
So there were just a couple of pictures. So we've set up a system in the fire department, so people will be able to contact Peggy there at the fire department. Our email will also be on social media, so that way we can make sure that we can make contact. Again, we want people to come join us in whichever opportunity they have to be trained. And then, of course, once they're trained and we be part of it as well, the fire department will also do some training with them as well.
Chief, how do I find an application for this one? Where do I find it? Is that
It will be online. It is online now.
Down
Yes,
website?
sir. Yes, sir. We've posted it, I think, this week, talking to Peggy, and all that details and applications are online.
Okay. Council, I'm hoping that at least some of you, I'm going to try to make this training. February 1st and 8th, I'm going to try to make it. Council, I encourage at least some of you to consider being a member of the CERT.
It's a very helpful.
Susan, I was wondering, we have again, this is a group of citizens who will work with the police and firemen, right? It's really that's the role, right? I was wondering, should we send a special invitation to the police committee we had? Those are
It's a great
a
suggestion.
lot more,
I'll do that.
police minded, right?
Yes, sir.
And also maybe the HOA board members, they may send some email blast through there. And also the veterans, we had a group of veterans who will be recognized. They're all police, military minded, right?
Yes, sir.
Just at least if you could do that, please.
Yeah, you don't have to have any kind of training. I mean, the training's there, but obviously we certainly appreciate firefighters, police officers, EMTs, paramedics, anybody that has those skills.
I'm looking at this veteran here, I'm just
Yeah,
scratching
sir.
my hand.
Yes, sir, I certainly understand. So, like I said, it's going to be a helpful, we can utilize them a lot, and as you were mentioning earlier, the CERT is basically an umbrella, and after that, you break out into different corps within the CERT, which it covers your police and emergency management and that sort of thing as well. So, I think you can even get into the younger folks as well, for Boy Scouts and things like that.
Training Saturday. Anything else, Chief?
No, sir.
Are there any questions for Chief? Thanks for everything you do.
Appreciate your time.
This is when we met with the CERT team, they said when the tornado hit Sunnyvale, Garland, Rowlett, they said it was the tale of two cities. One city had CERT, I think that was what, Garland or Rockwall?
Rowlett and
Rowlett
Garland.
had it,
Mhm.
and the other city did not. So the preparedness and how the aftermath and how things worked after was completely different. So again, hopefully no disaster will hit Sunnyvale, but if that happens, hopefully some of us can participate. Thank you, Chief.
Thank y'all.
Moving on to item number 17, to receive status update regarding the timeline and implementation of the police department. Chief, good evening again.
Evening. We've got several different projects going on, as you can imagine, which leads me into the first project is how the hiring process for sergeants coming along. I want to get some of them hired so they can help me with some of this stuff. We initially advertised for patrol sergeant. We had 52 applicants. 24 of those were determined to meet the qualifications. We always have officers that will just throw their name in the hat without really reading the job description. So we had some of that. Out of the 24, they were instructed to go and fill out the town application in addition to the interest card that they filled out. 11 responded and actually filled out the application. Those 11 were sent questionnaires, detailed questionnaires. We received 7 of those back. We cut one applicant based on some truthful answers he had that eliminated them, basically. And we have 6 finalists that we will be interviewing next week with a panel of police chiefs, and our fire chief will be sitting in as well. So we definitely have got the cream of the crop that's risen through the process. Dodge has given me an estimated time of the end of this month, 1st of February, for them to start receiving our vehicles that we ordered. They told me we were in D1 status, which means our vehicles have been assigned a VIN number, so they should be coming off the assembly line pretty quick. Once they are finished being built, they send them to their sister company who installs the police spotlights, and then they'll come to Dodge for outfitting. I'm working with the town manager and the city attorney right now. The Dodge dealership upfits vehicles, and they are on the state contract. I just want to make sure that the upfitting part of it is covered on the state contract, which means we won't have to go out to bid, that they can upfit them there and then send us the bill for the entire thing. But I want to make sure that we don't have to go out for bid before we just tell them to do that. Some of the equipment I'm asking you to buy is basically we're saving money by purchasing ourselves. If we have Dodge do it, they just tack on a percentage and stick it in their pocket. So we're trying to save some money, like with the radars and stuff like that. A vendor's been chosen for the vehicle graphics. I sent that out and got 3 quotes. Sinorama in Plano came back with the second lowest. The lowest was $20 less per car than them, but an hour and a half away. Sinorama's going to come on site to the police department and put our graphics on when we're ready for them to do that. Axios has ordered us our 4 desktop computers to go on our report writing stations in the police department. They're working with Joseph now, and that should be, they should have the computers here by Friday. We start our repairs on the walls tomorrow from where they had to cut holes in the sheetrock when they dropped in the Ethernet lines and the electrical lines, because the building was so old they had fiber blocks in the walls, so they had to cut holes to get around them. So that's getting fixed tomorrow and Thursday. Of course, the portable radios are with the City of Garland now, and they're getting programmed. And we've made our initial application with TLETs with the state. This is one of the real lengthy processes to working with TLETs and CJIS. It has to do with our ability to run driver's license, criminal histories, enter stolen vehicles, and it's a real lengthy process because they want to check our data connections, they want to check our hardware, and Joseph's real versed in working with CJIS. So that's one of those things where we apply, which we've done, and we're kind of at the mercy of the state to, don't call us, we'll call you when we're ready to come help you guys. So that's where we're at there, but it is moving along. And then I'm working with Joseph, and we're trying to come up with our best in-car video system, body-worn camera, and laptop solution for our vehicles.
Sounds like you're making a lot of good progress. Thank you, Chief.
We're working.
Any questions for our Chief?
I'll just comment, thank you for all your hard work. Thank you for the update.
Have you ever take a nap?
Well, not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, I think we are on our last and final agenda for tonight. Mayor and council request for future staff updates and agenda items. Come on, council, 8:56, let's go.
That's what we're telling you. Let's go.
All right, if there are no requests, I'm going to call for a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Mr. Allen to adjourn the regular town council meeting of Town of Sunnyvale for January 13th. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Freeman. Everyone heard the motion? All in favor signify. All opposed? Motion 5-0. Meeting is adjourned. Now time is 8:57. Good night, everybody. Thanks for being here, staff especially. Appreciate you. Mr. Anderson, thanks for representing law firm and being attorney. Thanks for keeping us safe. Thank you, Mr. Wade.
A lot of them were not simple.
That's a web-based program. So, I don't put all the work. And that's the thing about this program, they do expect you to email. You can email. I'm gonna let y'all get together.
Oh, your brother? Okay, very nice. Hey, Joseph, I'm going to try to see whether that will work. If not, I'm calling you.
It was obviously going to be hard.
Thank you once again.
Thank you again, I appreciate it so much.
I was never been a big horse guy, but I remember going to one of my neighbor's house. The only thing, his wife asked me, I never said who that is. I said, the only thing, I remember his neighbor. I equally give the horse. I don't even remember the conversation now. Kevin came back and told me like, never forget that.
You never know what you're going to come.
You know what? I changed. I had a perspective because I had no experience in horses. So I had a perspective. When people tell who are passionate, I said my perspective changed because I am there for person. Your wife, somebody else on the corner of the house, and somebody else. I said none of these folks live near the horses, but they're passionate. That's like from my point. I changed my opinion. I said, for the horses. Thank you.